Michelle with Pink and Maine. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be creating some cards with our October 2021 Crafty Courtyard Kit. The theme is rainbows, and I have had so much fun creating these cards to share with you. For our first card, we are going to make a shaker card. This is a side folding A2 size card, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 when folded, but we're going to turn it and have it be horizontal. So it would be folding at the top, but it's just more horizontal. I'm going to do this shaker card a little bit different than I've done before to show you a way that you can create a shaker card without having acetate on hand. This is the package from our glitter enamel dots in the kit. All I have done is I've cut off the top of the package that has the hole for hanging so that it's just a sealed end on this side. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to remove the insert card that's inside. So now we have a clear little pouch that we can add our shaking pieces to. I have some of the gorgeous confetti that's included in the kit, and I'm going to put it into our pouch. Be sure to save some of these to glue on to some of your cards because they're beautiful when they're glued onto the fronts of cards as well. I have my little pouch, shaker pouch if you will, full of our confetti pieces. For the front of the card, I've taken this gorgeous piece of pattern paper from the paper pack that has watercolor background with these pretty flowers, and I've just die cut 3 of the rainbow pieces out of the center, and that's where our little confetti is going to show. See how this is going to go right behind there, and we're going to be able to shake it around. The pouch is longer than our card front, so I'm going to need to cut that and then seal the end of it. I've tapped most all my confetti pieces down to the end. They do have static, so some of them stayed on this side, but that's okay. And I'm going to try to judge where I need to cut the pouch. I can throw this away, I don't need it. And I'm just going to take a piece of washi tape, that's what I've got on hand, and I'm going to close up the end of this pouch and also tape it to my piece of paper. So now I have my pouch taped to the back of my pattern paper, and when we flip that over we can see the pieces shining through. I want to glue down these little rainbow pieces that are here because they kind of pop up away from the pouch. So I'm going to glue those down so they'll be secure. Now we're ready to adhere our little shaker piece to the front of our card, and you could glue it flat down to the card. So it's a fairly flat card, but I think I'm going to raise it up with a little foam tape just to give it a little dimension and also give a little room for these confetti under here to shake around a bit more. Okay, so now I have the foam tape on the back of my card. Don't worry that this looks like a big mess back here. Nobody's going to see that. And here is our shaker card so far. We've got those beautiful confetti pieces under there. If you shake it around, they shake. Super fun and super sparkly. I cut out with the die, I cut a cloud out of that really beautiful aqua glitter paper that's in the kit. So I'm going to add the cloud to the front. I just made 1 cloud for one side. You of course could put 2 if you wanted, but I thought the cloud would offset nicely having the sentiment on the other side. And I used the sentiment, brighter days are ahead. And there you have it. We have a beautiful, sparkly shaker card. It's really simple to put together and no need for acetate. Are you ready for our next card? We're making a side folding A2 size card. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I cut out with our stitch rectangle dies just a piece of the white cardstock to go over the front of the card. I'm going to do one of those kind of white on white cards. I don't do that very often, but it actually does have a really nice clean and classic look, if you will. But what I've done with the stitched rectangle piece is I've run it through my die cut machine with the embossing folder that's in the kit. So I've got, I hope you can see it on the camera, I've got this beautiful textured piece of paper that is full of dimensional rainbows. Really fun. It just gives that little pop of dimension to the background of the card. Before we glue that down to the front of the card, I want to build our rainbow. So you get 5 sheets of 8 1/2 by 11 glitter paper in the kit, which is absolutely fabulous. We're just going to adhere our rainbow to this embossed panel. One thing I love about the rainbow die cuts in this kit is they are unique in that they are all separate. So you don't have to cut out a rainbow's worth of red, a rainbow's worth of green, blue, you know, all the colors. You can cut just the colors you want. And there's our glittery rainbow. Oh, it couldn't be more beautiful and sparkly. Not only do you get rainbow dies in this kit, along with the cloud and some hearts, you also get a sentiment die. It says sending cheer. And along with that sentiment, you get the shadow feature. So you can cut out just the sentiment and use it, or you can cut out the shadow as well and have something for that sentiment to sit on. And then I've cut the sentiment, sending cheer, out of some of the silver foil cardstock that's in the kit. But before I cut it out, I added some of our adhesive sheets to the back. That way, when I'm ready to glue this down, the sentiment, which they can be pretty intricate and detailed and a little difficult to add glue to sometimes. So with the adhesive sheet on the back, I'm just going to peel and stick like a sticker. You want to be very careful when doing this because, oh my goodness, look at this sentiment. It is very delicate in some places. So I just want to make sure I get it put back the way it should go. And that is where having the shadow piece can also help. And if you don't fuss with it too much and you just kind of let it go naturally into the spot it wants to go in, it should go back pretty much where it needs to go. And here we have our really pretty and shiny sending cheer. And I'm just going to glue that down onto our card panel. When you're gluing something down to glitter paper like this sentiment, I usually recommend using a strong adhesive like a liquid glue, but you can also use our adhesive sheets. They stick really well to the textured glitter surface. Don't forget to dot your I. There we go. Now we're ready to add this to our card. And there we have our card. I love that white on white with this embossed panel, the glittery rainbow, the silver foil sentiment. It has every little touch of sparkle and shine that it needs. It's super pretty. For our next card, we're using part of the stamp set. And I already pre-stamped this because I didn't think you needed to see me stamping the rainbow pieces, but they go together real simple. The stamp set has these fun rainbow layers that you can use on top of like the stencil. You stencil the rainbow layers and then you stamp these fun patterns on top. or you can use them just by themselves like I've done here. So I have the different layers of the rainbow, but they're in these fun, funky little patterns and designs. I cut out with our layered circle dies a circle that fit just around the edge of it there. And then the next size up circle I cut out of the gold foil, and I'm going to glue these together. To put on our card base, I've cut out this really pretty polka dot watercolor background, so we're going to glue that down to the card base. I cut it almost the size of the card base, so it just has the tiniest of white border going around it. Just kind of gives it a finished look. I'm going to glue our rainbow circle down to the card. Now you could also just cut the bottom portion of the circle off because I'm not going to be using that. I'm actually going to cover it up with a strip of the purple glitter paper. I also cut a strip of the gold foil cardstock just to go along the bottom, just to bring more of that gold into the card. And then I've stamped the sentiment, "You are my rainbow on a cloudy day," and we're going to add that. And I've just cut a little flag end out there. And I think the only thing that this card needs is some glitter enamel dots. There we have our finished card. It's a really unique rainbow. Our next card is going to be super sparkly and shiny. Let's get started. I've got another side folding A2 size card that we're going to turn and make it a top fold so it's more horizontal. With the scallop rectangle die, I cut out a piece of the silver foil cardstock in the kit, and I'm going to glue that down to the card base. For the next layer of the card, I've cut out a piece of white cardstock that is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And I've added a piece of our adhesive sheets to the entire piece. So I'm just going to peel away the backing. And what we have here is one super sticky piece of cardstock. But that's perfect. We are going to put our glitter paper stripes on this piece. So I have 5 strips of glitter paper. I've cut them 3 3/4 inch long and 1 inch thick so that you've got that 5 by 3 3/4 inches. And all I have to do is lay this down onto our adhesive backed cardstock piece. Now I've got my own striped glitter cardstock. How fun is that? Now we can go ahead and adhere this piece to our silver scallop rectangle. Now we have a really pretty rainbow striped glitter panel on top of that pretty silver, which just a little bit of it peeks around the edges with those scallops. It's a perfect little hint of silver. We're going to add our rainbow to the card next. But this rainbow I did a little differently. I cut out the rainbow pieces from the gold foiled cardstock. I just thought it would look really pretty on the striped glitter. I've got my gold rainbow finished. I'm going to add some silver clouds. So now we have our beautiful gold and silver rainbow and clouds on top of that beautiful glittered stripe background. Oh, it could not be prettier. Now we're going to add a strip of cardstock that I've cut to 5 inches so it fits just across our glittered stripe panel. And I've stamped, "You put me on cloud 9. We're going to put that across the bottom. I've also die cut some little gold foil cardstock hearts that I'm going to add to the sentiment strip here at the bottom. And there's our finished card. Oh, I think that's so pretty. For our next card, we're using the fun stencil and the stamp set for the card. So first I've made a panel. I cut out with a stitch rectangle die. I've stenciled the rainbow. With the stencil, you're just going to put it down. And then I use a little washi tape around the edges and to cover up any other opening that's close by that I might go over with my blending brush. I used our mini ergonomic blender brush and it just super quick and easy went over. After you do one layer, you take and you put the stencil where you want the next layer. Same thing, tape off any little openings and you stencil your ink. And after you build the rainbow, you have the panel with the rainbow. So this stencil also comes with some fun little raindrops, flowers, and some hearts and stars. So you can play around with lots of different little images like that. I've already done all the stamping for us because it's really just stamping those fun layers of rainbows with the images over the stenciled rainbow layers. So I've blended red ink for the outer. I used the same red ink and just stamped the stars on top. Now imagine blending the red ink and then maybe using embossing ink, putting gold embossing powder or silver, anything, and just embossing those images. Those would be really pretty as well. So there's so many things you can do with this stencil, the stamps, the dies in this kit. I think I've put together something really unique that's not the same thing you see in other rainbow stamps or dies. I've gone ahead and stamped the sentiment, "You are my rainbow," on a cloudy day just underneath. I think this rainbow and the little images stamped inside it just kind of give a nice bold look on its own. You don't have to add too much else to it. It makes a really pretty card. So for our card base, I have an A2 size side folding card, and I've cut one of this striped papers from the paper pack, and I'm going to glue that down to the card base. Next, I'm going to add our panel with our rainbow and sentiment. So you've got just enough of that striped border showing around it to give that pop of color. It's more rainbow colors, so everything pulls together and looks really good put together. Now the last thing I'll add to our card just to finish it off is some of our glitter enamel dots. And there is our finished card. I think that's super cute. And it's almost a one-layer card because most of it is just ink blending and stamping. We've just added a layer of patterned paper behind it to give that pop of color around it. Really fun. Thanks so much again for joining me today. I do hope you've enjoyed these beautiful rainbow themed cards that we created with the October 2021 Crafty Courtyard Kit, themed rainbows. As of filming this video, we do have some of these kits left. I don't know how long they will last, but be sure to head on over to pinkandmain.com to check them out for yourself. Until next time, my friends, keep living the creative life.